I want to talk to you about a subject that's really dear to my heart, and hopefully I can do a good job explaining my feelings. Um, we'll start off with saying that can you imagine living in a country where the government is against you and everything you do is wrong and they're trying to excommunicate you, get you out of there so they can move some other people in. That was the situation with the Acadians in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia belonged to King James of England. He was king of Scotland, and he became king of England. Uh, Being against Catholics, and Acadians were chiefly Catholic. They had a strong feeling for God. Their prayers was in their minds at all times, and um, everything they do, they thank God for that, for the things they had. And they had farms and uh, fields and raised animals, and they trapped and hunted and did a lot of things that they now do. Uh, but around 1755, they were put on prison ships. All of them were put on prison ships, and they watched their houses, their farms, everything burned to the ground. And they had no idea where it was going. But these prison ships took them along the East Coast, and it met with storms and disasters and different things, and some of the ships were wrecked. Some of the people made it to the East Coast and settled around um, anywhere around the East Coast, Maryland and those places. And today you can find some of the Cajun names there. But for the most part, the big majority of them sailed around Florida, came up to Louisiana, and it was dumped in the swamp, the most desolate swamp they could find. It belonged, nobody used it, nobody wanted it. It was a land nobody needed. And it was infested with mosquitoes, snakes, alligators, um, typhoid, malaria, all of these sicknesses. But what the English didn't count on was it was also heavily populated with food. Deer, rabbit, uh, crawfish, shrimp, crab, fish, um, animals of all kinds. And they flourished and they made a good living there. And they multiplied and spread along all of the coast. And I find it ironic that uh, around 50 years later, the British came back close to the place that they were dumped, and they fought the Battle of New Orleans. The Battle of New Orleans was fought, and by Andrew Jackson, of course, and it was very low on ammunition and gunpowder, and it threatened to lose the battle until a Frenchman came, a pirate named Jean Lafitte. Jean Lafitte supplied Andrew Jackson with gunpowder, ammunition, and whatever and then they fought the Battle of New Orleans, and through the night the British left, and it was a victory for Andrew Jackson, of course, and in that battle helped us to get our independence from England. Uh, we uh, we owe a lot to people that helped us, and that brings us to a subject about the Cajun people. Cajun people are very unique in their feelings, their thoughts, their deeds, and their worship to the Lord. They had a great feeling for Jesus Christ. They loved Jesus Christ. And they offered prayers of thanksgiving for everything that they have received. Uh, they they had a Cajun people have blood as thick as crude oil, as sweet as honey, pumped through the body like that solid gold, bringing nourishment to a brain as wise as Solomon. And these are simple people, and but they're very resourceful people. If you come to South Louisiana, you will see things you wouldn't see in other places. You would see people that get along with each other for the most part. Disaster comes and they help each other. There's a there's a lot going on in Louisiana all through the year. They have festivals celebrating the things they do. They have a crawfish festival, catfish festival, oyster festival. Um, you name it, they have a festival for it. If they did it, they have a festival for it. And as I said, they're very happy people, very considerate people. Um, I can, as you can detect in my accent, I'm sure I have a Cajun accent to some part, and that accent I'm very proud of. Uh, if I go into other states, they know exactly where I'm from. They don't have to ask. They know. They know where I'm from. And sometimes in different places, I like to amplify my accent and put some real Cajun talk to it. Sometimes I throw in some jokes that I received from different joke records and things that I couldn't say here, but the it makes for a good, friendly atmosphere when I always said that if you're around me and you're happy, I'm happy. If you're around me and you're sad, I wonder what you did wrong. Uh, Everywhere I live, around where I live, friendly people all over. You ride down the road and people wave, they recognize you, they know you. Uh, they're friendly. Uh, Sometimes they flag you down and talk to you. Um, and they wouldn't do this if they didn't like you. Cajun people do that. They spend a lot of time with each other. Um, they spend a lot of time helping each other. Uh, it seems like to me that everything that happens is for a reason. Although Acadian people had a good life until they were interfered with, they have a better life here. They, like I say, everything that happens probably happens for a reason. Um, I like to think that God controls everything, but to control everything, you have to be a willing participant. You have to give God the thanks for what He has done. And I don't want to sound like a preacher because Lord knows I'm not. I'm just a person. But I do know that the Lord took me through some bad times in my life and lost my wife in July, and consequently, I was devastated. She was my wife of 63 years, and I promised that I thought I wouldn't bring in personal stuff, um, but it makes a point that things were dropped into my life at that time to make, not to make me forget, but to ease the pain. Different people came into my life, and people you wouldn't believe. Uh, some some people I thought looked like my wife, and it made it friendly for me to talk to them and easier for me to talk to them because the best friend I ever had was my wife. And at that point, I want to get off of that subject because I didn't want to fill your mind with any kind of personal things that maybe was not to your interest, although it is to mine. I want to talk to you about things that is to your interest. Um, South Louisiana is a good place to visit because when you get here, I promise you, I don't care where you're from, you will feel at home. You will feel that the people um, feel for you. You know, I've been in other places and um, it's hard to get somebody to talk to you in some places. I don't know if they think they're gonna say the wrong thing or you're gonna say the wrong. I don't know. But the atmosphere in South Louisiana is completely different from that. You come here and no matter where you're from, no matter what your origin, you're gonna be welcome. And for the most part, you will have conversations with anybody you want to stop on the street and talk to because they will talk to you because Cajuns are a great talker. Uh, you know, at one time when I was small, when I was young, Cajun French was a primary language. They had some people, they didn't even speak English, they just spoke French. My daddy spoke French fluently, all of my parents, my grandparents. Uh, but the schools, when we went to school, they didn't want you to speak French. They would go as far as giving you punish work if you said anything in French. So consequently, my daddy elected not to teach us French. Uh, he was a great supporter of the school, uh, although his education was very limited, but his brilliance was for that of many college graduates. Um, and I'm getting into some personal stuff again, and I don't mean to, because I want to talk about the culture of Louisiana. I want to talk about the foods of Louisiana. Um, I've been told because I live here and I've been raised here, and food is it's my food. It's what I was raised on, and it's natural for me. But I speak to people that came from different places, and they marvel at the food here. They marvel at the way it's prepared and the love that's put in cooking. Um, when we have dinners uh, for festive times of the year like Christmas, Easter, New Year's, it's a it's a family gathering and everybody prepares food. There's so much food on each table that you wouldn't believe, and it's prepared with a lot of love and delicious food. Uh, we have at one time they called it Fagadoos, and it was dances at night. And I remember when I was small, I was very young. Mom and Daddy would go to a dance, and they would bring us, and we would sleep on the floor in the dance hall or wherever they had the dances, Knights of Columbus Hall or whatever. And whatever time they would quit dancing and quit partying, they would take us home, put us to bed. We never missed a night's sleep. We went with them. Uh, there was another thing Cajuns like to do is make fun of themselves, not to tease themselves, but it's a humorous thing. They like when they like to tell jokes, they use Cajuns. Sometimes they use Texans, but they use Cajuns and make fun of them. And um, I could tell you jokes and jokes and jokes, and I and when I do that, I amplify my Cajun accent to where I really sound like a Cajun, and um, even a Cajun thinks I sound like a Cajun. So it's a lot of good things happening here. Um, I beg you, come to Louisiana. You will enjoy yourself. Uh, it is a great place to be. Um, People come here from all country, and next year they'll come back. Um, I would like to close this thing with a thing that says, um, if you will, um, no matter what your religion is, I'm Catholic, and I'm proud to be a Catholic, but I respect all religions, all, especially all Christian religions. I've been to Baptist churches and in different churches and heard people preach and been to funerals and celebrations at different religions, and um, to me, nothing, nothing can compare to being a Catholic. Hey, I'm going into religion, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay with the culture, but um, anyway, I did, and I would like to tell you about different things. My daddy, my parents, and where we're from, and I'll do that in another video, I guess. But you probably tired of listening to me talk, and hopefully not. And hopefully you will press the subscribe button and the like button. And to this I tell you, God bless you.